Hi, my name is Chip House, and first of all, I'd like to thank you for being willing to help sell the 10th edition of my Comparative Politics textbook. I want to use this video to introduce myself and the book to you and to get you excited about the possibility of working with me on it. So I see this as the beginning of what I hope will be a long-standing relationship in which we work together over the next years. The first thing you should know about the book is that it is not written to create the next generation of political scientists. In my years of teaching, I think I produced 5 or 6 people who went on to get PhDs in the field. Maybe 5% of my students in general have any kind of career that looks like comparative politics. However, I wrote the book for the other students in the room who will spend the rest of their lives as citizens. And for today's first year, second year, third year undergraduates who were born around the beginning of this century, the demographers tell us that most of them will in fact live for the rest of this century. So what does a textbook look like for this 21st century? To begin with, I think it has to revolve around the uncertain times that we live in. In fact, I use a term that I learned from friends at the Army War College called VUCA. It describes a world that is volatile, uncertain, complicated, and ambiguous. Whether you think about the Trump presidency or Brexit or the rise of fundamentalism in India or the Iran weapons deal, we certainly live in a complicated, uncertain, ambiguous time. So the book tries to do that in 2 main ways. First, it brings into the book something I had not done in past editions. The editorial team suggested that I really incorporate what I do as a peace builder and a DC insider into the body of this book. And what that means is that I've begun to add concepts that I use in those other parts of my career in the body of the book itself. So in addition to systems theory and the other core concepts of comparative politics, I brought in things like VUCA, but also accelerating rates of change, the growing interdependence of life on this planet, and what I call in particular wicked problems, whose causes and consequences are so inextricably intertwined that you can't solve them separately, quickly, or easily if you can solve them at all. In other words, the book itself does the basics of comparative politics and adds in these other issues that I think students will find appealing. The second thing that I do with this book is that I've created a website, which I think is unusual, if not unique. It's conventional in that it has lots of links to other sites that a student can turn to, but it has a few other features that are unusual. First of all, it will have videos like this one on most of the difficult concepts. Second, it will provide, and most importantly, it'll provide vehicles through which the students can talk with me, pose me questions, disagree with me when they want to, but also there will be ways for the students on one campus to learn with students on other campuses, not just in the US, but in fact any place around the world where this book is used. I've spent the last 30 years of my life trying to figure out how you build learning communities online, especially that cross ideological and other divisions. So the website, which will be up by the time this book is ready, will do all of that and more. Finally, to go back to where I started, I see this as the beginning of a relationship. I'm more than willing to work with you in any way possible. Brad and Heather will give you all my contact information and a handout with some of this material in it. But also, you should know that I'm willing to work with faculty members who are thinking about using the book now and after they do so, to the point that I'm more than willing to give guest lectures in their classes. I have software that lets me do that. And I'm also willing to go and do campus visits as long as they're willing to exploit me. In other words, I don't want to go simply give a guest lecture and go home. If I'm going to go visit a campus, I'd like to be able to meet with faculty members, students, others in the community on all the kinds of interests that they might have and share with me. In short, again, let's talk. I'm more than happy to be working with you. Thanks.